like this breeze blowing.
Welcome everybody to the morning broadcast
Just have to kiss, lay back, gaze at
of the A1A Media Network. Weekdays with Wilson. We'll be joining Lyle Wilson and Sonia Wilson and their special guests in just a moment. So stand by. Stand by Facebook live streams, stand by YouTube streams, and all the streams everywhere sharing this program. This programming is shareable and free of charge.
No, there's nothing to change. You never hear me complain. It's just another perfect day in paradise. Now there's Anglo Key and my Orlando Beach, Cali, DC, Naples.
We would like to thank our sponsor, Mr. Chip Bell, author of Jake Sullivan's series. If you're watching this, there is a QR code. Please order the entire series by Chip Bell, author. We're also sponsored by Mr. David Hartman and his luxury travel adventures and his show, Enjoy the Journey, on all of our A1A Network media channels and now on podcasts.
Smell of the ocean, tropical ocean.
We're also sponsored by a few other sponsors. Health Genie, coming very, very soon. Remember to get the apps. We now have a brand new app. It's called the A1A Media app. You can share this information everywhere with folks on an app. So grab these great stations, Radio A1A and Cruisin Country Radio, as we are simulcasting from Sun Beach Studios today at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Weekdays with Wilson coming right up.
The sun is setting. Evening moon's already on the rise. Tonight I'm gonna be with my baby on the beach, sipping rum while music plays in paradise. We got nothing to lose, nothing to prove. All we could ask for and more. Nothing to change, you'll never hear me complain. Just another perfect day in paradise. Yeah, we got nothing to lose, got nothing to prove. All that we can ask for and more. Nothing to change, you'll never hear me complain. It's just another perfect day in paradise. It's just another perfect day in paradise. Perfect day in paradise. Another perfect day in paradise. Sun and a bottle of rum, but I'm not here to stay. 'Cause I found a place where I can't be traced. No phone, no text, no way. There's a white sand beach and a blue ocean. Nothing to do, but it sounds like fun. Let me take you away today. We can't stay here no more. Going down to where my boat leaves from and sail to that distant shore. Let me take you away today. We can't stay here no more. We're going down to where my boat leaves from and sail to that distant shore. say that it's running away, but I beg to disagree. Got to be strong to say so long. Set out for open seas. I'm talking white sand beach and the blue ocean. Nothing to do, but it sounds like fun. Well, let me take you away today. We can't stay here no more. Going down to where my boat leaves from and sail to that distant shore. Let me take you away today. Can't stay here no more. Going down to where my boat leaves from and sail to that distant shore. Let me take you away. Sail to that distant shore. Let me take you away today. Can't stay here no more. Going down to where my boat leaves from and sail to that distant shore. Let me take you away.
I turn my sound.
Sail to that distant shore. Let me take you away today. We can't stay here no more.
All right, that is the Peyton Monarch Band right here on Radio A1A. It's music for your road to paradise there. And if I did everything right, I should have both Michael and Jimmy on the phone with us. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, good morning.
Hey. Good
morning.
Is this Jimmy or Michael?
That's Jimmy. That was Jimmy.
Ah, there we go. There we go, guys. Man, you guys are coming.
Here's Michael right here. Thanks for having us a while.
Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate it, man. Well, I don't really know where to start. All I know is that you guys, Michael, you was a former lead guitarist for Steppenwolf. Is that correct?
Yeah, a long time ago. That's true.
How long was you with the band?
I was in the band for the first 4 albums. That was the hit albums in the 60s. And then I went on to... that band kind of slowly disintegrated, and I went on to, I got signed to Led Zeppelin Swan Songs label in the mid-'70s, and I did a band called Detective there for a few years, and that wasn't a real big hit, but it could have been.
Wow.
I'm writing a book about it.
Cool. When's that going to be out?
When it gets finished. Easy to start, hard to finish.
The question I was going to ask you, I'm a DJ. That's what I do for a living is do DJ, and Steppenwolf songs are still popular to this day.
Good.
So I mean, there's not a night that I don't work that somebody don't come up and request something from Steppenwolf. So you also got you're from L.A. How'd you get from L.A. to Florida?
A plane.
Really? Are you serious?
Turn left at Greenland.
Yes.
How did I make that decision, you mean?
Yeah.
I just decided that I had enough of L.A. I mean, it's been there my whole life, although I did live in Europe for a while, and I spent a lot of time on the East Coast in New York back when. but I always really lived in LA, and but it just was getting so crazy. I wanted to get out, and it just the quality of life wasn't that great. And I was living near the studios, and I was trying to do some stuff with the studios as far as, and which I did. I got some music in some movies and in some TV shows and stuff like that. So I was kind of like doing that on the side, and but it just, you got so little for your dollar there, you know, and I decided I had a lot of my friends moving to like outside of Austin, and then I had a friend that lived on the west coast of Florida, and I went out to visit him, and I said, this is great. I like this. This is good for the motorcycle. This is really good for financially for what you get, and then also for not having the state income tax like California does.
Oh, absolutely.
So I decided to make the move, and I'm glad I did.
Wow.
I love the nature coast.
I was going to say the difference between L.A. and Florida has got to be 150%.
No, not that different. You know what? It is not that different. You know, weather's warm here all year, but I've got now the Gulf, sunsets over the Gulf. I used to have sunsets over the Pacific. Commercial, Highway 19 is sort of my Pacific Coast highway. There's something very similar and familiar. It was very easy for me to make the change. And plus where I live, I mean, I don't have the traffic. But I still could get to the airport easily. I mean, I'm not living I'm living in northern Tampa, but outside of Tampa, really, in Weeki where the mermaids live, and the mermaids are beautiful.
Wow. Well, listen, you met Jimmy through a church band. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I was playing at a small church here in Brooksville. My neighbor's son was a musical director, and he asked me to sit in one day, and I sat in with them, and they had a great drummer that I loved him, and made me want to come and do that more. And so I started playing in that band, and But I was playing in some other local bands. Besides, I play in a band that travels too, but I'm doing less and less of that because now we're doing none of it. But it was getting hard to do. But anyway, I was playing in a band, but wasn't happy. A local band, and I wasn't happy with the singer. In fact, we didn't really have a good singer at all. So I was really looking around for a singer, but I guess Jimmy heard the band, or I guess his wife heard the band, and said she liked the guitar player, so. I know. I think didn't you come up to me in the parking lot and we talked? And we had met once before, but I didn't know that. I didn't remember that.
I'll tell you about it a little bit. So I go to this church, and I had worked across the street helping this guy named Billy. He had a service station across the way, and I'd been watching this church feed the homeless and the poor on Wednesday, and I'm over there doing breaks and stuff, helping my buddy Billy out who was sick. And anyway, I just kind of pressed upon me. I said, Rhonda, let's go check this church out. So we had gone in there a couple Sundays, and they have a 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock. And this church is called the Vineyard Church in Brooksville, and it's got a really good pastor and such nice people. And so I'm in there. I think it was the third Sunday, and we're sitting there in the pews, and my wife kind of touches me with her elbow, and she says, oh, but this guitar player. So I put my glasses on, and I look, and I go, golly, I know that guy. I had done sound about a year and a half before at this place in Crystal River, and it was a band that had thrown me out for monkeying around, which was me actually trying to work the audience a little bit, but the guy I guess he didn't like it, and I got chucked out. But a couple months later, he'd asked me, because I had a good sound system, if I would do the sound for 2 bands. And Michael was the guest guitar player, and this bass guitar player guy named Steve had asked me to talk about it a little bit, since I was kind of emceeing it a little bit. So I asked him to write out a little bio so I could, I couldn't remember all what he was telling me, and he wrote it down. And so I was telling everybody, hey, don't go anywhere. Michael from Steppenwolf's going to be stepping in with this band. And next thing I know, about a year and a half goes by, and I put my glasses on, and yep, it's that guy. So on that third Sunday, I come to the 9 o'clock, and I met Michael out there in the foyer where they have coffee and stuff, and kind of turned around, and there's Michael right behind me. And I said, "Does this people in the church know you're from Steppenwolf?" And he smiled and he talked about it. He says, "Yeah." We ended up out in the parking lot for about an hour and a half talking. And Michael was just such a nice guy. And I think I sang him original song out there in the parking lot. And Michael took my number and called me the next day. And my wife says, "Who's that calling?" Because my phone don't ring a lot. And I said, "Well, do you believe it's the lead guitar player from Steppenwolf?" And, Michael asked me in a conversation, I told him I played bass, but not very good. And I remember he said, "Oh, that means you're good." And I said, "No, that means not very good, but I can hold church down probably pretty good." And we just become friends. I became the bass player, one of the bass players in the church. They have another one. And we just kind of hit it off, and I took it very seriously because I'm standing there next to Michael. And we decided to, with Michael prodding me and wanting to, we decided to try to put something together. And so we were doing lots of cover songs, and I went off and learned the set list and took it very seriously. But Lyle, what's really cool about it is I'd kind of walked away from it all. I've been thrown out of 3 or 4 bands for this reason or that reason, and it was meeting Michael that kind of pulled me out of the waste paper basket and let me be heard, after I'd kind of give up on it,
Well, Jimmy, you've got an incredible voice. Did you take any type of voice lessons, or is that just natural?
No voice lessons at all. I think it was from trying to sing everything from Steely Dan to Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix songs, and of course, I'm Southern, so a lot of Leonard Skinner and a lot of Florida bands, the Outlaws and stuff like that. It just, my voice was always being stretched to this, that, and the other. I briefly had auditioned for a band in Tampa, and it was a brief little stint, but I was in a Joe Cocker tribute, and I auditioned as the lead vocalist, so I then learned to, like Michael's got all these stomp boxes in front of him, I kind of realized that I have a built-in stomp box right inside my vocal cords, and it's just my mind. And I studied that Joe Cocker music, and, Joe Cocker had this, like a grinder type of voice where he just like grinding metal. He could just really get in there, and I learned how to handle that. And my voice had to go a little bit lower than normal, but also in that grind and that growl. And then I realized that it was really an exercise in my voice. Well, this tribute band also covered Santana. We'd change our shirts. We'd do set 1 as Cocker, and set 2, we'd change it into a flowered shirt and do Santana. And then we'd come back and do set 3 back as Cocker, put my black shirt back on, doing Cocker again, and back to Santana. But, it was about as far right and as far left as you could get vocally, because the Santana had, like, Alec Lidgertwood and Fergie Ferguson, I believe. Is that right, Michael? Wasn't Fergie one of the singers, too?
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking
about the WCR band? Yeah. I mean, we had quite a lineup.
Yeah, exactly. But, in that while I kind of learned, I guess I learned the hard way. And I was all about the sound, really not all about me at all. I just wanted to sound good. And it was all about working with people. It just kind of seemed to be my calling, that this is really what I wanted to do. And it's always been in the back of my mind that go to concerts and just feel like, man, that's what you're supposed to be doing. So it was Michael that came along and found me in church in a conversation, and here we go. And then meeting Lisa and Kenny Burke, they'd called us up and asked us to do a gig at Guild Dogs. And Lisa and Kenny are so sweet, and they talked to Michael, talked to me, become the best of friends. And Lisa had said, you guys should do this, and maybe you should do a trop rock song, and introduced us kind of to trop rock. We kind of, I hate to say it, but we knew who Buffett was, but we didn't know there was like this whole nother world out there. And Michael goes off in the boat with his wife and comes back and has this idea about a perfect day in paradise. And Michael will tell you more about that, but that led to me getting to come over and do some recording and hearing Michael say, "Man, your voice just cuts right through the mix," and all this kind of lingo I'd never really heard before. But in Perfect Day in Paradise, Lyle, I got to tell you, that's the first take.
Wow.
I tried to sing it a couple times, and Michael's like, "No, the first take was the one," and it just was kind of like a revelation,
Michael, is it? He said you went off on a boat and come back with this idea to write this song. Is this? Does your songs come pretty naturally to you? I mean, is it easy for you to write a song, whether it be trop rock or any other song?
Sometimes it does happen pretty quickly. Like it's just, comes, I don't know where from, and you start with a line and one thing leads to another, and it's just, but many times you've got to work on it and you got to craft it, and it takes days and days, especially the lyrics, it takes time. I have a backlog of music, and I play, guitar, but my first instrument was keyboards, and then I did drums too when I was a kid. So I can and I've got a small studio, so I can, with good equipment, and I can record all the stuff. And so I've got a backlog, and actually, I was going to say, with what's going on now in the world, with having to do all the social distancing and being at home so much, it actually has worked out for me as far as the recording end of things, because I've just really spent a bunch of time writing and getting ideas, and also listening to a lot of different kinds of music because I have the time to do it, and some it's influencing me and giving me ideas. So and then I go in the studio and I record stuff, and so we've got but as soon as we can start finishing the stuff up, we've got some new songs that are going to be coming out.
Wow, that's good. Well, listen, you guys have done something that no other artist or band has been able to do in the history of the Top 40. You guys had 4 songs in the top 10 this past week.
Yeah, such a blessing.
Wow, that was unbelievable. When I looked at that list, and I was wow. At first,
it's basically all of our songs that we released to Harry and some of those songs have been on there for like 9. Well, Shark's been in the top 10 for something like, or top 20 or top 10. It was a number 1 back in last October, but it's been on the chart, for like 6, 7, 8 months. And then one of them, one of the ones you were playing, Perfect Day in Paradise, which was the first one we put out there. That one was in top 5 back in 2018, I believe, November 2018. Wow. And still up on the chart, in the top 10, pretty good.
Well, you guys know what you're doing. I think what's probably, and Jimmy, I think you probably agree with this, is probably Michael's expertise with all he's been through over the years, and who's how he's
no doubt.
So
yes, sir.
Wow.
Going over to Michael's house, first time it was, I was trying to mind my P's and Q's, but Michael just kind of eased me right in there. And, I'm looking at, I thought I knew something about recording. I didn't. I'm looking at a nice tile. He's got a really nice floor, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, how are you going to get a sound out of this echo chamber in here? But he has a really good studio. It's not something that you would close your eyes and think of something all wood and this, that, and the other. It's almost exact opposite. It's just a room in his house where all this equipment lives. It's a little, like a bedroom, back office, whatever, and it's all of his stuff. And he says, well, we kind of went through it in one room, and then he says, well, if you think, let's just go in and record it. And I'll be honest with you, I was a little nervous. Of course, this is Michael, and I'm trying to take it real serious, and what the trip of it all was, that the first take on Perfect Day of Paradise, the vocal track you hear on that song, that was the original one.
Wow.
And I was just as shocked as I could be. And he sent me the file, and I listened to it probably 100 times that night and critiquing the heck out of myself. And I finally learned, quit doing that. Just relax. Michael had captured the sound and did what he did, and he's good at it, and the equipment's good. But, this is what this man's done his whole life. And I just had to keep my mouth shut and be very thankful. It's just all been a big blessing to me, and just trying to be that partner to this man that is that kind of musician. That's Michael on everything you hear in that. Every instrument played is Michael.
Wow.
And it's just hard to get my head around because I've never been allowed to press the flesh with such a talent, but here we are.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've talked to you a lot over this past weekend, getting ready for this interview. And you keeping your mouth shut, I would find that hard to believe. Because you like to talk, don't you?
Oh, I know. It's hard.
Oh, Lyle, you got that right.
I tell
you got that right.
Jimmy, there's going to come a day that you're going to call me, and I'll have you on speakerphone, and my wife will take over the conversation, and I will just walk away because she loves to talk too. So, and Michael, I will tell you this. I don't know if you remember when we were down at down in Florida there, and we met.
Yeah, Captain Jack we met.
Yes,
Captain Jack. Yeah.
Yeah. My wife was
T.J. Walsh and Daryl Clanton and Sonia and Janice, and they're right now hunkered down in a storm up there that's gone across the states there, but made a lot of good friends and got to meet you guys.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a great time, and I looked over at my wife, and of course we've been married 30-some years, and I looked over at my wife, and she's just got this look on her face, and I'm like, what are you doing? And she's got her camera up, and she doesn't take selfies, but I looked at her camera, and she's got her in it, and then she's got you and Michael in it, and in the background. She didn't want to make it obvious because she didn't want to, let you guys know that she was stalking you. but I married a country girl, but she is a rocker down deep. She loves. I'll go out here to Tiki Bar and I'll put on that old '80s classic rock and Steppenwolf and all those guys, and she's in her element. So which is good. So and like I said, I'm a DJ, so I love all that stuff too. So I'm so thankful that you guys formed this band called Peyton Monarch Band. Where is this? Is your stuff available on iTunes, or where's it available at?
Oh yeah, it's available on iTunes and really everywhere. It's wherever you find that kind of music, you'll be able to find it. Mostly digital downloads for this because we haven't put out an album yet. When we have enough stuff, we'll maybe put out but really nowadays, people want digital downloads anyway.
Yeah, well, and the thing about it is I've said this 100 times. Back in the old days when you bought an album, you might get one or two good songs off of it, but I mean, everything that you guys have got is just kick ass. So it's that's good. So.
We're going to try to keep it that way.
Well, hey, so far so good, guys. You guys not had any problems yet. What did you think about Michael? What did you think about trop rock music when you first heard it?
Well, I wasn't that unfamiliar with it because, first of all, I'm a huge country fan, and I was playing some trop rock in some little local bands and stuff, and I love doing it. I love country. So even though I came from rock, I mean, I love country. I love jazz. I basically love all the American forms of music, Americana music. Maybe not quite as big in folk, but especially country and jazz and blues and trop rock really fits right in there. But for me, actually coming up writing songs, I mean, I think what really made it, moving to Florida, getting a yacht, getting a small boat, and being out on the sandbars just off the coast here in the Gulf. Forget it. That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
So I think that mixed with some country background and some of our songs. I mean, we're not all sticking to country stuff. A lot of our stuff's got more of the rock influence and some other influences in there. And some of the newer things we're going to be doing, I think, are different too. But I think a lot of it does fit into the tropical Americana bag.
Well, hang on, I'm making some notes here. Michael lives in Tampa and has a yacht. Okay. We'll be down there in a couple hours. Okay.
It's a four-person yacht.
Well, it's
Hey, Lyle, let me tell you something. We went to Pit Stop 1 where Lisa invited us, and I remember thinking about it, getting my headset, going into all that. And I told Michael, I says, Lyle, you ever watch that movie? What was it called with John Belushi called Animal House? There was a scene in that movie where John Belushi's got the toga party. He's in the toga, and he's coming down the steps, and there's a cat sitting there playing with 3 girls beside him, and he's singing this song, I gave my love a cherry, it had no stone. Anyway, John Belushi grabs the acoustic guitar and smashes it all to pieces, and hands it back to the guy, and he says, I'm sorry. So here we are at the pit stop one, and Lyle, we don't do acoustic guitar, nothing. So I says, I'm having this moment, and I told Michael, I said, I'm going to go find a cheap guitar. We're going to start pit stop one. We're going to do this. I'm going to sing that song like in Animal House, and I'm going to have you come up, smash this acoustic guitar all to pieces. I wasn't really trying to be, in your face with acoustic guitar because I love that. I mean, I grew up listening to a lot of acoustic music, James Taylor and John Denver was heavy in our playlist at our house, but I just wanted to be funny, and I have that crazy kind of mind, but I never could find a guitar cheap enough at a pawn shop to allow me to destroy it. I probably want to pick it up and try to learn how to play a few more chords than the 3 that I know. So I'm a bass player, one note at a time, but, the trop rock thing and a lot of the artists, they do it with the flat top guitar. We don't do that. Michael is an electric player and a keys player and not really acoustic anything, although he does put some acoustic in some of these songs that you've heard from us. But we're not acoustic. We're kind of a rock band that's been shaken down and using all of Michael's talent. And yes, it's to a track. And for a while, to me, that was kind of strange. But, the quality of the sound coming back, it was much easier of a sound for me to wrestle. I'm not a sound guy. I do have a sound system, and I've had to learn how to do this, and Michael's helped me so much. So, okay, we'll set this here, and we'll do that, and we use really good quality speakers. Luckily, I bought good stuff from the beginning, and if you ever come to a live show, you'll see that you see very little stuff on the floor. You just see Michael's stomp boxes and one monitor, and we listen to what you're hearing. So
wow.
We don't have this thing up on 10. We play in kind of an intimate settings and smaller places, and it's what we have here in the west central part of Florida. We live in Hernando County, and it's kind of shaped like Tennessee. It starts in the Gulf of Mexico, and it crawls across the state to I-75. That's Hernando County. It's in the geographical center of Florida.
Right.
Brooksville, Hernando County. And so, I mean, it's rural, it's small. There's not any place to play with, but we're now being invited into these retirement communities, these gated communities, and they have some of them have some posh, performing arts centers, and that's the largest crowd or the loudest we ever get it. And with all this things going down, I think we had a couple contracts. I don't know if we're going to be able to fulfill them or not. Hopefully this stuff will clear out so we can get back at it. But, we play in small places like Captain Jack's where we met you guys, so it's been we've had to learn to wrestle it down a little bit. But with that, we've added some cool songs, doing Rainy Night in Georgia, something that's not turned up to 10. We break it down, and Michael loves this music.
That's classic music. I've got when we're talking about Joe Cocker, like I said, I do weddings and stuff like that, and a lot of that classical music like that, Rainy Night in Georgia. I mean, those are perfect for dinner music and people just sitting back and relaxing and enjoying it. So I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, Jimmy. First, we're gonna back up a little bit, and When did it come to you, and when you realized that you're in Michael Monarch's house from Steppenwolf and you're in his studio?
Golly, so much to unpack there, but I kind of held my breath for a long time and just trying to be careful, because I've learned a lot. You know, you've heard that song When You're Done. Thank you for sharing that. And to Michael, thank you for sending him that file. But, you know, I'm the guy that kind of grew up, and I don't know if it was bravado, but once I finally got landed in a band, which I've already told you that none of that went very well. But, you know, I'd jump on there and I'd tell everybody, and I'm like, y'all come, and this, that, and the other. And it all blew up in my face. So when Michael came along, I'd kind of like, okay, Jimmy, let's apply everything you've learned. Don't ask him a bunch of stupid questions. Don't run around like a puppy. Just chill out. You're in there to sing. Do yourself a favor. Study this music backwards and forwards and show up over there like you actually care, that this is a big deal. But don't make it a big deal. Just be chill. So, to be honest with you, it was the charting in Radio A1A, and for a while, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know if it was for real or not. You know, of course, I'm very happy that the songs did well. I knew that they were good. I'd hear them, and Michael would send me a file, what do you think? And the hair would just stand up on my arm. And to be honest with you, it kind of choked me up. So it's been about a year that I've slowly kind of like, golly, this is really happening. Michael's the real deal, and he's legitimate. Much like my wife marrying me, it's kind of legitimized me. I'm like, yes, I have a great wife, and man, she's all in. And our pillow talk was that, Jimmy, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? And I said, oh, this is where I'm going to lose you, but it's something to do with music. I don't know if it's writing a song or playing a song or pulling a curtain or being a sound guy or something, but something about music's always called me. And my wife's the kind of girl that says, you know what? That's what I want you to do. And then all that, Michael comes along kind of after I said, you know what, it doesn't work out. It's been too stressful. It shouldn't be so stressful. It shouldn't be a war. It should be something that you look forward to doing. And so it's really been an acclimation. It's been a slow process of me kind of realizing this is really happening. People really do like these songs, and my voice is liked. So
Well,
it's been a blessing.
well, let me.
Church has been a blessing. Michael's been a blessing.
Well, I'm going to ask you another question. I played that song earlier, When You're Done. When you were explaining this song to me, you said this is one of Michael's kids that he gave you. Won't you explain that? The song that I played, it was the first song of the night or of the morning. That it's called When You're Done.
Yeah, well, I'd love to unpack that. I'm going to try not to go too deep, Mr. TMI me, but you know, that song really is. You know, I took care of my parents for a long time, and that was kind of hard on me, and I got kind of bitter. And you know, before all that, but I call it before the fall, it was easy for me to be poetic, and I wooed Rhonda with writing to her and text messages and letters and stuff, and it was always in me to want to, I don't know, to be able to write or be poetic, but in all that things with my parents and the family and the issues that come. This is life, you know, but it was just surreal for me. But it kind of took away the blessing a little bit of where if I wrote anything, it was dark. And who wants to hear that, you know? So I just kind of shut down my writing. And as I was telling you earlier with the other question, you know, slowly I've been acclimated and healing and learning and being blessed left and right. And it's been God kind of healing me up. You know, Lisa and Kenny Burke, they know. Michael knows. And I try to stay out of that. But so here it is. I asked Michael, actually, we was over there recording something. And you know, as we become more friends, I didn't just rush off after the recording. We started hanging out. And Michael's got this computer, and there's like a bajillion songs on there. And so he had told me, he says, man, I got this song. It's an instrumental, but I always thought that there was words that belonged in that song. And he says, I'm going to send it to you. And about a week later, he did send it to me. He wanted to adjust it a little bit, perhaps make a better recording. But well, I'm sitting out in the porch where I'm at now, and I got this little Bluetooth speaker that Rhonda gave me so I could practice the church songs and actually hear it. And I'm playing this song through the Bluetooth, this file that Michael sent me of this instrumental, which is really the meat of When You're Done. but without any lyrics and without the lead on it, without the lead guitar part on it. So I'm listening to it, and Rhonda comes out of the back office. What is that you're listening to? That sounds really good. And I told her then, I said, it's one of Michael's children. She says, what? I said, it's Michael's baby. And he has allowed me, hey, see if you can flesh out some lyrics to it. So I'll be honest with you, I prayed. I said, Lord, just let me write something that would allow me to express myself. But don't go too deep. Don't call anybody out. Don't say any names. But to kind of learn the life lessons of it. And it was also meeting some people that we when we play out this place, that place. We've met some really cool people. And one of them was a guy named Richard, and he's in his 70s, and he's Michael's friend. And Richard just took my number one day, and he's been calling me, and he's a snowbird, goes up north for 6 months, comes back down to Florida. But Richard's calling me up in New Hampshire in a fifth wheel in Lake Winnipesaukee, and he's like, Jimmy, you need to get up, get a cup of coffee, sit down with a piece of paper. And this is like probably the 8th or 9th or 10th time he said, did you write anything? Did you write anything? And here it was that Michael had sent me this baby, his child. He said, here, I want you to hold this baby. And I sat there and I'd listened to the soundtrack, and I started in the middle, kind of in the chorus. I kind of heard, something that went in there, and I said it. And I started writing. So I wrote in the middle, and I wrote back to the front, and then we kind of talked to Michael, and I remember Michael saying, I'm not sure how this is going to fit. And I said, it's going to fit. Let me just come over and sing it for you. And Michael loved it. And, of course, I got my fingers crossed and being hopeful, but, man, I listen to it now, Lyle. I think it's been 4 or 5 months since we did that. And now with this global situation, to me, the song's just, it's like it was God blessing me, and it kind of has more meaning now than ever. But so Michael sent me another one, and from that, I made In the Moment. And that was about me and Rhonda going on a vacation. We finally got to go on a vacation. And Michael says, I got another song I want you to hear, and I wrote to that. So
wow.
It needs to be that I can listen to the music and just sit down and maybe pray about it and think about it and check with the wife. Does this sound okay? And yeah, that sounds pretty good. And then I'll create a letter and send it to Michael, and he's like, yeah. And I over and probably it just goes down, and 3 days later he's got it mastered. But he could tell you more about that. I'm just a singer,
Well, Michael, I got a couple questions for you. First of all, I hear you are a hell of a dancer.
Where'd you hear that?
I got people. I know people that know people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was something. I'll tell you. Real quickly, it's something when I was playing a lot of country music in the early '90s, and because of that, I started hanging out at some. It was a country dance craze happening, and all these bars were opening up. There was a place called Denim and Diamonds I used to go to, and another place called. What was the name of the place? A few different clubs in California, in Los Angeles, and I went there the first time. Somebody brought me there, and the place wasn't crowded. It was a Sunday afternoon, and there was somebody up there, a lady up there teaching a line dance, and just for the fun of it, I had a beer too, and just for the fun of it, I got up there and did it with her because there was nobody in her class, and it was. It was kind of fun. It was kind of a joke. And a few months later, I went back and did the same kind of thing. Well, little by little, I started going there all the time, and I was meeting people, meeting women, girls there, and I could dance a little bit. And I started doing couples dancing in country, and one thing led to another. I met a girlfriend there, and she became my girlfriend, and we actually won the regional contest in country dancing, and they sent us to Florida for the final thing. I know we didn't win anything there, but still we won in the Southern California district. We were the winners of that. But anyway, one thing led to another, and I got into swing dancing, West Coast swing dancing, and I did compete in that in like the late '90s. did pretty well. And we had a first, me and my partner then, we got to first place in Southern California in our category, and second place in the whole state, and seventh in the world championship. Now I got injured doing that, and because we were doing lifts and drops within the swing dance, and I did one wrong one time and hurt my back. But anyway, so I kind of stopped doing dancing, and I just do it for fun now a little bit, but I still love it.
Well,
it's amazing because I'll tell you, dancing is a whole nother way of looking at music.
Oh, absolutely.
It gave me a whole nother appreciation. When I saw the great dancers interpret a song, that song became, I heard that song differently and grew to, like it more maybe whatever the song was. So it got me into other kinds of music and too, and yeah, I mean, it's a hobby.
But you enlightened me because
my wife dances, so we dance a little bit.
I was going to say, you enlightened me because I'm thinking that, Michael Monarch, Steppenwolf, he's probably a heavy or, classic rock type guy. I wouldn't think that a guy like you would be into country, and I think that's cool that you are, so that you're that versatile.
I'm an enigma. I probably should have a big, German Shepherd or something, but I got a little tiny Maltese dog, and but I do have a couple of beautiful heavy-duty motorcycles. So some of the stuff fits. I've got a great custom bike, and I got a really nice Harley, Road King, it's all decked out. But so some of the stuff fits my background, but hey, I like all kinds of stuff.
All right, tell us about this. Tell us about this tribute band that you're in, this rock group.
Well, that's the thing that started about 20 years ago. It's called the World Classic Rockers, and it's an all-star band. It's got Ainsley Dunbar, the original drummer from Journey, as drummer, and another one of the bass players from Steppenwolf is in the band, and we've had Randy Meisner from the Eagles was in the band. It was kind of somewhat of a floating band, although we ended up having more. Originally, it was designed to be a band where different people, whoever was available, could do it, but that didn't work very good. So we tried to make it more or less the same people because it made for a better show.
Sure.
And so we've had a guy from Foreigner in the band. We've got a singer from Boston in the band. We've got one of the singers from one of the guys was a singer from Santana. We have a guy from Leonard Skinner who was here in Florida, Jacksonville, Randall Hall. He was in a later version of Leonard Skinner. And so we go out and do a lot of corporate shows, and we used to do it a lot. I mean, truthfully, it's getting a little hard to do it. I won't say one of the younger. I'm probably in the middle of the age group of that band. So we got some of the guys that are quite a bit older than me. And I think it's getting tough. And then it's mostly the flying that's tough, and
Sure.
Because sometimes we go a long way to do one show. We've done shows in Hong Kong, for example. We fly all the way to Hong Kong, we do a show, we stay there for a few days, and then we come home. I mean, it's cool on one hand, but it's taxing.
Sure.
It's hard to.
Do you guys have any albums out with that group?
Yeah, but they're really just you can find them somewhere. It's mainly the live. We don't have original songs out. We have recording of the live shows.
Sure.
So with some of the different grouping, different people that have been in the band, but it's not really a recording band. It's an all-star band just to go out and mostly in the corporate world, and we do festivals. So big things, big stages was usually for a lot of people. Sometimes it's more intimate. Funny thing is they still have to pay as much. That's not a cheap band to get out there on the road. But I'm really doing that less and less, and I really enjoy what I do with Jimmy. Tell you the truth, I enjoy that more, even though it's smaller people, but it sounds good. We lock in. Jimmy's got a great voice. I mean, Jimmy's got a golden voice. I mean, he doesn't know, but maybe he doesn't realize it. But some people, I mean, you can learn to play guitar. I believe if someone puts the time in, they can learn to play guitar. They can emulate this, that, or the other. But a voice, you either have it or you don't. I don't know there's that much that a teacher can do to give you. You can maybe learn pitch things and learn harmony and stuff, but some people just have a good voice, and with a microphone likes it. And the first time I recorded Jimmy, I saw that. I didn't know for sure. I thought he sounded pretty good, just from the little gigs we did, and just from hearing him a little bit. But when we went in to record, that's when you find out. The microphone either likes you or doesn't like you. Luckily, my microphone, it's a good microphone. It likes him.
So,
Yay.
are you guys, are you and Jimmy, the Peyton Monarch Band, are you guys available for house concerts?
For what?
For house concerts? Are you familiar with the house
concerts?
Yeah, that's where you show up at somebody's house and play in their backyard.
Well, we have done that a few times. That can be tough. I mean, I don't think that's our main thing. We started off, this thing started off as a 5-piece band. We had a great drummer who had to drive up from downtown Tampa every time to rehearse.
Yeah.
And we had a keyboard
David
player and a
Dix
bass
from the
player.
Outlaws. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a really good drummer.
David Dix, yeah.
And but we started to realize that it was hard. And the bass, to get the guys to play what needed to be played and to be good enough, and the money for the gigs that we were doing and that were available, it just really wasn't there to. So we didn't want to just get any, not that good local guy that's really not that good. That's how we ended up doing the thing to, using our recordings as the background. We do sound like a band because, I've played the instruments, I've recorded them, and they're coming through the PA just like we mic the band, and the PA is behind us. So it feels and sounds, it just doesn't, you don't see the drummer, you don't see the keyboard player, but it's not your normal, in the box kind of a karaoke type thing that some guys do. I mean, we I use real drums and I use good keyboards and bass and everything, and it sounds good.
Wow.
And it's tight.
But
eventually, when we become bigger stars and, when this thing really takes off and we have to do bigger gigs, we're going to be able to get the good drummer and the good bass player and good keyboard player and good percussionist, because we really need all that stuff to do what we're doing.
Well, what's next for Peyton Monarch along the lines of trop rock?
What's next?
Yeah, what's next for you guys?
Well, we have this, as I already said this, but because of what's going on with the virus and all that, I've had time to be in the studio, and it was really, what else am I going to do? I mean, I play every day, so if I'm not playing out, I'm going to play in. And I've been writing and recording some stuff. We have a new song to record, and we have new songs that need to be written that I want Jimmy to be part of. So in the writing also, because I think when he's singing in a song that he wrote the lyrics, it helps. He puts an extra thing into it. And but he's done with the songs that I've written the lyrics to. He's done a great job. He's added so much to it. But so we're going to do both those things and keep on doing that. And hopefully we're going to start playing again. And you never know. We really do take it one day at a time. What else can you do?
That tends to be the way nowadays. So hopefully they get through this nationwide pandemic here, and we can all get back to work. So because everybody's out right now. So man, I'll tell you what, I really have enjoyed talking to you guys, and you guys are just you're great. Lisa and Kenny think highly of you. So and of course, first impressions when we met you down at Captain Jack's, you guys won my wife over. That's important. I'm still working on that after 37 years. So, well, it
was really great meeting you, and thank you so much for playing our stuff, and Harry and Mayor Gonzo, who's a big fan, and she's great. Did you see those pictures of her back when?
Oh yeah.
Did you guys see that? She put that up recently. I don't know when that was, about a month ago. These pictures of her when she was, I don't know how old she was, maybe 20, 25.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
She was young. Well, very young, though.
still hot. She's still wacky and hot. So that's cool.
Michael, I'm going to ask you about the song because we're getting ready to play. "In the Moment," which is one that Jimmy came up with the lyrics for, and then which I think was one of your kids too. And then we're also going to play "Sharks on the Sandbar." Tell me about that one a little bit.
About Shark?
Yeah, give me the backstory on "Sharks on the Sandbar."
Well, Shark was a song having to do with the boat again. Me and my wife were out on the boat, and there was a shark on the sandbar. She claims it was a hammerhead shark. It's very possible that it was. We were out at the Enclave Key Sandbar, which is popular for boaters to go to, little sandbar, only get there by boat. And we thought, well, that could be the title of the song. And then me and Jimmy had talked about, well, maybe we could do something in a reggae style. We just, we didn't know what, but that would fit in. We were trying to think of what fits in with the A1A format. And so that song, and that was one of the ones that kind of came pretty easily. The lyrics started falling together, and I think that's a good one. I like that one. Wow. And Jimmy just for the fun of it, kind of went in, kind of did his Shaggy kind of Bob Marley kind of. Well, he claims it's something to do with a Disney film, but he did kind of a reggae thing in his voice, which, hey, no problem. It sounds great, and so that song came out good, I thought.
Well, very cool. Guys, congratulations having 4 songs in the top 10. I mean, that's incredible. So,
well,
like
thank you guys. Thank you, Radio A1A. Yep.
Well, we look forward to seeing your new stuff coming out here in the future here. And if you guys ever got a gig coming up that you want me to announce over the radio where you're going to be at, let me know. I'll get that out there. Tiki Town, that's what we call Tampa, is got a lot of listeners down in that area there that would love to come out and see you. So,
Tiki Town.
That
sounds cool. That sounds like a song.
There you go.
I'm giving a lot of song. There's going to be a bunch of songs now written called Tiki Town by everybody's hearing this.
Well, Daryl Clanton, which you met down there that day,
right.
He's the one that started calling it Tiki Town. So because there's tiki bars
Does he
everywhere.
have a song called Tiki Town?
Is
he right? Right.
Oh yeah, Daryl writes.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah, he's prolific.
Daryl has 20.
Daryl
has 20 or 21 number 1 hits on the Weekly Top 40.
Jimmy, Tiki Town, start writing it.
I guarantee you Daryl's already got it written, probably.
Hey, you know what?
I don't think
what? You can't copy. I found something out. I know something. You cannot copyright a song title. A song title, you can't copyright it. There's many songs, many hit songs that can have the exact same title. You can copyright the lyrics, the body of the song, but the title is not something you can copyright. So even if someone else has got a Tiki Town, we can have a Tiki Town as long as the rest of it's not the same, and we're fine.
Well, I don't think he has a song called Tiki Town, but he does have one called Tiki Bar.
Tiki Town. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So,
all right, we'll see what happens.
You know what? I just got thinking of it. Daryl's got a trop rock song. He was messing around with his nephew, and his nephew wanted to put like a little rap in it, and he's got a song called "Come On Down to Tiki Town" that has been banned from this station.
Yeah, it's been banned. Did you say?
Yeah, just for the simple fact that Daryl cannot sing rap.
Oh,
yeah.
Neither can I. So.
Well, listen, guys, we appreciate you, and thanks so much for hanging out with me this morning. And I know my fans will love it, and my fans will be your guys' fans if they're not already. So you guys are a class act, and we just really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much.
I'd just like to say God bless all of you listeners out there, and our thoughts are on all you guys, on all of us here for protection, and we just thank the good Lord for blessing us, and you guys blessing us, and all of that. And we're all in this together, and we're hunkered down over here. I ain't seen Michael since our gig on March 15th, and I can't wait to see him again. I miss him. I miss all the fans out there, and we just want to say we appreciate it. Peyton Monarch Band would really not be what we are now had it not been for Radio A1A, and and the love of the music and the sharing. So thank you, everybody.
Well, thanks, guys. We appreciate you. And March 15th, that was the last gig that I worked. So we're all going through this together. So thanks, guys. And you guys remain on the line here. I'm going to start your song. Written by Jimmy Peyton, and it's In the Moment, right here on Radio A1A. It's music for your road to paradise.
Waves from the ocean, moon affects the tide. The blue of the water and how it meets the sky. Sunset in the evening, and the breeze it blows at night. Walking the shoreline with an angel, the day turns into night. Her painted toes splashing in the water, all the world seems right. It's all in these moments, it's all about time. Take my hand and walk with me together in the moonlight. Star falls from heaven right before our eyes, only for a moment, then it says goodbye. Walking the shoreline with an angel, day turns into night. Both our feet are splashing in the water, we're gonna make it tonight. It's all in these moments, all in good time. Take my hand and walk with me together in the moonlight, in the moonlight. Moments, hey, yeah, it's all in good time. Take my hand and walk with me together in the moonlight. Shoreline with an angel, today turns into night. Just take my hand and walk with me together, 'cause it feels right in the moonlight, in the smooth light.
That is the Peyton Monarch Band, right here on your Tropical Americana station, Radio A1A, music for your road to paradise there. We want to welcome at this time our friends that have logged in on our Facebook feeds, wherever you may be at. And also we have got a YouTube channel up and broadcasting the vocals only. So thank you guys, and hope you guys are having a great day here on Radio A1A. Here is another Peyton Monarch song. This one here is called Sharks on the Sandbar.
Oh, na, PMB. Now that sun real hot, and the water is cool. Take a chance and get wet, but don't you play the fool. She's so smooth and so sleek, yeah, she steal away your heart with those eyes that look through ya. But the deep, they are so sharp. There's a shark on the sandbar, yeah, she's a real man-eater. They say at love at first bite, I say you better run for your life. If she catch you, she got you. Or down the Davy Jones lockup, there's a shark on the sandbar, and she's headed right for you. PMB, maybe it's all just a game. You think you can win, but the ocean is deep. Boy, I hope that you can swim. There's signs everywhere. You gotta watch out, watch out. She's coming your way. Don't you hear that people shout? There's a shark on the sandbar. Yeah, she's a real man-eater. They say it's love at first bite. I say you better run for your life. If she catch you, she got you. Or down the Davy Jones lockup, there's a shark on the sandbar, and she's headed right for ya. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out, watch out, watch out. Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out, watch out, watch out. There's a shark on the sandbar, and she's a real man-eater. They say it's love at first bite. I say you better run for your life. If she got you, she got you. Or down the Davy Jones lockup, there's a shark on the sandbar, and she's headed right for ya. There's a shark on the sandbar, yeah, she's a real man-eater. I'll say I love at first bite. I say you better run for your life. If she got you, she got you. Or down the Davy Jones locker, there's a shark on the sandbar, and she's headed right for ya. Oh no, no. Go down, 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 down. Go down,
That is the Peyton Monarch Band right here on Radio A1A. It's music for your road to paradise. Check those guys out. They've got, like I said, 4 songs in the top 10. They're the only band that I'm aware of that's accomplished that task, and that is no easy task because you've got, we've had some that's had 2 and I think maybe 3, but not ever 4. So thanks, guys, for listening. We appreciate each and every one of you there. And we were talking to Michael and Jimmy about the song called Tiki Town. Well, I don't want to do this, but Jimmy and Michael's still listening, so I think that they should experience this song. So, and by the way, Lisa Burke just absolutely loves this song. So here it is. Come on down the Tiki
Oh
Town.
no, come on, please no. Don't tell me. Oh no. Oh shit.
Come on down to Tiki Town. The weather is divine. The people here are happy, and the sun shines all the time. We gather in the evenings, and we watch the sun go down. And we're waiting on you patiently right here in Tiki Town. I'm going to the seashore, where I can smell the brine. 'Cause there's nothing like a sunny day to ease my troubled mind. Forget about the hustle, the bustle, and the strife. And come on down to Tiki Town. Get that mess out of your life. Sick of preaching to the choir. Boy, all that ice and snow and cold will put out your damn fire. So at least once each winter, it's just good for goodness sakes. Come on down to Tiki Town and give yourself a break. Come on down to Tiki Town, the weather is divine. The people here are happy and the sun shines all the time. We gather in the evenings and we watch the sun go down. And we're waiting for you patiently right here in Tiki Town. Come on down to Tiki Town, the weather is divine. Come on down to Tiki Town, the weather is divine. Come on down to Tiki Town, the weather is divine. Come on down to Tiki Town, the weather is divine. Come on down to Tiki Town, the weather is divine. The people here are happy and the sun shines all the time. We gather in the evenings and we watch the sun go down. And we're waiting on you patiently right here in Tiki Town. A few days by the ocean, that's what life's about. And there's a half a dozen highways that'll get you headed south. So fill your tank with gasoline and stop fooling around. Fire up that deep ride, boy, and head for Tiki Town. Come on down to Tiki Town, the weather is divine. The people here are happy and the sun shines all the time. We gather in the evenings and we watch the sun go down. We're all waiting for you patiently right here in Tiki Town. Come on down to Tiki Town, the weather is divine. Come on down to Tiki Town, the weather is divine. Come on down to Tiki Town, the weather is divine. Come on down to Tiki Town, the weather is divine.
Mr. Daryl Clinton, come on down to Tiki Town. Some of you is going to be singing that the rest of the afternoon. We appreciate you guys listening this morning. Hope you guys are having a great day and hope you had a great weekend. Here is Liz Thurman. This one here is called Cigars and Cologne.
You're my 90s dream, my serendipity. I wish you never left me. How could I forget all the memories?
Radio A1A is signing off. Excuse me. A1A Media Network is signing off. Lila's continuing on the Weekdays with Wilson shows. Tune in. Radio A1A. Up at 2 o'clock, David Hartman. Enjoy the journey.
I saw you talking with the moon that night, like she was an old friend. Kissing your hands and putting them in the air. I knew you were talking to someone. Maybe she knew that you'd be home soon. Please don't take him, I can't take it anymore. Cigars and cologne.